welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday and a great new year, and everybody got what they wanted for Christmas. And I definitely got more than I needed, so definitely blessed there. So but yeah, this episode plan on working some more on the inside. I did do a little bit of work while I was off for Christmas holiday. I'll show you guys. I got a new retro sound stereo installed with some new speakers. I don't have all of them in yet. I only got 2. Sorry I didn't film any of that. But I also got some other goodies. We've got a SCT tuner for the truck. So we're gonna throw a tune on this thing, and then once we get that done, I'm gonna work on the cluster. I kind of crudely mounted the Crown Vic gauge cluster in the original dash trim, which this I had to paint it. It looked pretty bad, and now that it's painted, I really don't like it. It looks pretty bad. Not happy with it, but this is the retro sound stereo. This thing's pretty awesome. I mean, it looks really close to original. The knobs aren't exactly, but I mean, it fit in the exact holes that the original did, and I didn't have to cut anything or anything like that. So, and it's all mounted. I got a microphone wire here for Bluetooth and RCA's for if I wanted to run an amp, and USB plug and stuff like that. And but got some stuff I feel like I want to do, because tomorrow, say today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, and they're having the Tennessee Redneck Rumble in Lebanon tomorrow, car show. So I want to take this to the car show. I plan on bringing everybody along. So in this episode, we'll be going to the car show as well. But I want to get this truck kind of ready, a little bit more presentable for showing it. I won't have much done in the bed and stuff. I may clean the frame rails up, get everything cleaned up, tidy up some stuff, and I didn't bore you guys with it, but I've been doing a little bit of some more sanding. This side of the truck bed's been primered. It's coming along. I still got a lot more work to do. There's some fine tuning I got to finish. And this side is almost bare metal, but also I did get some parts in. We got some more parts in, so there's gonna be more work coming. Let's see, I'll show you what I got. Oh, for the gauge cluster too, I've got brand new bezel with lens, and I'm kind of thinking, instead of running that just plain old Lexan, this kind of looks cool. I'm wondering if I just put the gauges behind this. Since this is new, I won't have to cut a new piece of Lexan. I can just put this on, and then put the gauge cluster on behind it, mount it all together, and on the front side it'll look kind of original, but behind it you'll see the Crown Vic cluster. And if I don't like it, I can always just cut a new piece of Lexan to fix that. But also right here, I've got, this is a brand new wheel tub. The other one's on its way. They didn't have both of them. So actually this one's for a Bronco, because it's got a notch cut out right here for the shocks, which it doesn't matter because I got to trim it out to fit around the Crown Vic frame. So that's fine with me. They were a lot cheaper than ones for the truck. And then I've also, in this box, we've got some more parts. Get this out of the box here. There we go. All right. These are both boxes here. These are the tail light panels and stuff, because I do not feel like repairing the ones that are there. I'm just trying to less body work as possible. So even their E-code's got a lot of fisheye in it. But yeah, I got 2 brand new panels. I've ordered some more stuff. I've got I do have taillight trim bezels and new screws for the taillights. The lenses and everything in the back are all brand new. They're LED lights. And but yeah, so we'll get started. I'm gonna get this cluster out and I'll get it over here on this workbench and I'll show you what I've got going on and how I've mounted the Crown Vic cluster to the original bezel. So, and then but I want to bring the gauges down a little bit because I can't really see the top of them the way I've got them mounted. And we'll get that done. Then I want to work on trying to fix my blinkers. I've got one side that works. They don't blink because of the LEDs in the back. These older flashers don't like LEDs evidently, because I can put incandescent bulb in it and it blinks fine, but my passenger side doesn't blink at all. I think when I replaced the blinker cam, they don't come with a wiring diagram and the colors aren't like the original, so I just guessed where they went and I got about half right. I've got brake lights, I just don't have my right turn signal at all. So I want to get that done and stuff before tomorrow. So, but yeah, we'll get this gauge cluster out. I'll get it on the workbench, and I may put you on time lapse because if I run my heater in here because it's kind of cold, you're not gonna hear me. Speaking of that, one of you mentioned about getting a lavalier mic. I've got one coming, so whenever it shows up, so maybe you guys can hear me better when I'm in the truck. So if it doesn't show up before I leave for the show, then you know, just bear with me on the sound. Hopefully, you know, you guys can hear me better on the way to the show and stuff. So, but yeah, we'll get to getting this cluster out. All right, so got the gauge cluster out. As you can see, it's sitting right here. This is kind of how I mounted it to it. If you want to look at the sides of it here, I did is I just took a body saw, one of those electric ones from Harbor Freight, and I cut the lens piece because it snaps off. It comes off of the gauge cluster itself, and I cut it as straight as I possibly could all the way around, nice and flat, so it'd sit flat up against the back of the gauge cluster. And then I made these little brackets right here. See, they're just little angle brackets, and then I used some epoxy and glued a piece of wood there to have something to mount these bottom areas to. But when I redo it and do the new one on the new cluster, I may not even use these because these work pretty well, and because I got to bring this down a little bit, so depending on if there's any interference, I may have to trim some of this off. I don't know, but I'll bring the cluster down some, and so I may have to move this bracket down a little bit, or I don't know, may have to change it around or make new ones. These weren't that hard. I just piece of tin and I drilled some holes in it, or some metal, and drilled some holes in it and mounted like that. I mean, it's mounted pretty good. The only thing I don't like about doing it this way is, you know, you can see down in there, so it's going to get dirt and dust down in there. So if I run this for a long time, I may think of either taping this off or doing something just to keep dirt and debris from getting down in the gauges. I mean, it's not that hard to take it out and clean them, but just an inconvenience. So, but we'll take these screws out. Alright, so I've got this mounted on there. Let's just see here. Can't really see that very well, but I think it'll look good with this hidden behind it. You can get them kind of, the retro radios come with that faceplate that looks like the original dials numbers on front, and then I said this will just be hidden behind it. I'll still be able to read it. I think that's going to look really good. It'll be different anyway. Trying something different. So, that being said, scary part, I gotta drill a hole in it for the button right here. So button right here, I gotta drill a hole just underneath the tent. This one I had it way too high anyways, so it's gotta come down. Let's get this kind of where it was. And come straight down underneath there, and we'll drill that out. don't want to, kind of scared, but we'll set that there. Alright everybody, so I decided to try to hide it behind this original lens, and so I've got it mounted up. I'll show you how I got it mounted, and it's pretty simple, honestly, but I think it looks pretty neat hidden behind the original lens with the original numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of in the way of some of the numbers, but what do you guys think? I think it looks pretty neat. I think it'll look pretty good once it's in there. I think it'll give away the fact that it looks original, and then you'll be like, wait a minute, why does the needles look different, you know? So I just thought it'd be pretty neat. You know, I might take the screws back out. You can see where the cluster ends are right about there. You can see the back of it because the cluster's not quite as wide. Now the ideal thing is Dakota Digital is finally making digital or analog digital gauges for this cluster. So sorry for the background noise, I got my heater on, but eventually I might go that route. I heard they make an interface where I can make it work with the 4.6 engine and stuff. So but for now I think this turned out pretty good. We'll get it mounted back into the truck, and but before I do that, let me go ahead and show you how I've got this mounted for all of you that don't know about how to mount your clusters. This is all I did. Like I said, all I did is that front face where the lens is mounted, all I did is I cut it with an electric body saw as straight as I possibly could all the way around, and then snapped it back on so it'll have a flat piece to sit on. You can see it down in there. And then all I did is I made some brackets right here. I had to redo them since I'm on a new cluster, and I lowered it. So these holes, all I did was change the hole, and this right here is double walled. You can see you got one there. Let me see the other one. All right, yeah. You can see it better here. See how you got an inner and outer? So you can run a screw through the side of these, like I did before, and you won't ever see it. So that's all I did. And no, actually, just these two right here mounted down. It's holding it. It's very, very sturdy. I mean, it's not coming off that I know of. So I think it's going to be just fine. I got my little push button mounted. I got a little off with my hole, so I had to oblong it just a little bit, but that'll be all right. If I want to, I'll cut a piece of rubber out or something, make like a little rubber grommet for it. But I think that actually looks pretty neat. It still looks like the original dash, and but it's just hidden behind the cluster of the cluster's just hidden behind that. So I think it looks pretty neat. I'm gonna leave it like that for now. So and then we'll make sure it fits in the truck. All right, so got it mounted back in. I think it looks pretty neat. Looks a lot better than that other one. Anyways, look how shiny that is. Woo! Too much shiny stuff in here, you guys. Oh yeah, I like that. Like I said, if it gets annoying where these rings being in the way, then you know what, later on I'll just cut a new piece of Lexan and just put a new piece of Lexan there. I mean, it'll look just like that without the rings and the numbers, but to me, if it's off and you're looking at it from the side, I mean, it almost looks original. I mean, almost, you wouldn't think it has a CV cluster in it, but you know, hey, I think I'll leave it for now. If it gets annoying, then I'll change it. All right, so on to the next. Now that project's done, let's get this all put in and tune the truck, and then I think, or what I may do, since I'm not going to drive it yet, I may pull the steering wheel off. It's off a little bit anyways. I want to bring a tooth over because when I'm driving, it's like this. So take it off. I want to check the wiring for my blinkers so I can figure out exactly which one it is my rear or my other or my right rear blinker, so I can get that done. Then I need to order a new come on now, mine went blank. Flasher, the little flasher relay for the blinkers, so I can get one that's made for an LED set up so that way they blink like they're supposed to. And I did. If you notice, I'm missing the cigarette lighter one. I've ordered it. It's coming. Got to replace that. This is for, I'm gonna say, factory flashers, but my truck doesn't have that, and it didn't. It had some weird different one in there. I think they threw it in there to plug the hole, but I can't get it to mount right. And if I do get it to mount, then the switch doesn't work. So I don't know. If anybody knows where I can find an original 65, 66 Ford flasher switch, let me know, because I haven't been able to find any. I've looked, believe me. But yeah, next project we'll start on this. So let me let's get this steering wheel taken apart, and then I'll get back. All right, I believe I got it figured out. So tore it all apart. Was able to figure out which wire was which, and I had, where's it at? This is the factory. You can't see it. Let me see my. Get my phone out with a light so you guys can see. So this right here is my factory plugs. Right here I had this green wire and this wire were backwards. That's all it was. So I just had to swap them around, and that fixed the issue. They don't blink yet. They're not blinking because I don't have the flasher for running LEDs. So I'm gonna order that, get that in, but I can manually blink them. So sorry about that. I can manually blink them. That'll work for now until the flasher comes in, or I can put regular incandescent bulbs back there and they'll blink just fine. But I've got brake lights. I'll get it all back together, and I'll show you guys everything that is working. All right, so let me get it back together. All right, got everything back together. Steering wheel's back on, horn button's back on. So I'll show you guys that it's, like I said, they're not flashing until I get the new flasher in, but let's see here. You can see the reflection on the garage door. So I've got both brake lights, or turn signals. Let's see, brake lights, and then that's gotta be something the way it don't like these LEDs maybe. But up front, see the reflection some. But they're working. I've also, since this is the Crown Vic cluster and stuff like that, and I've already put a thing on Facebook about asking what people thought about keep this kind of hidden, you know, behind with the cluster behind it, or just cut a new lens. So far everybody's voted to get a new lens, so I'll run this maybe this weekend or something, and then next week I'll take it out and I'll cut a new one and be done with that. But yeah, the blinkers, that's taken care of. I'm gonna go in there tonight, sometime tonight. I'm gonna order the flasher. Also, I went ahead off camera. This is loaded in, so it's ready to go. What, nothing special. You just plug it in, hit program vehicle, and it just does a bunch of stuff. Turn the key on and off, and then it's programmed. So it's got a tune on it now. It ain't nothing special. It's just tuned for 93. A little bit better throttle response, a little bit firmer shift. So we'll see how she runs. And I want to finish changing the oil tonight. Starting to get late on me. I've had to stop and go do a few things, so run out of time on some things. So we're going to get the oil changed, because I want it changed before I leave tomorrow. And there's other stuff we can do, you know, after the show, but I want to at least get the oil changed before I drive that far. It's an hour and 15 minutes from here. And so yeah, let's get this jacked up in the air, and we'll get it jacked up in the air, and I'll get my stuff under there. I've already got my oil and oil filter over here, So, oops, tripping over stuff. I got so much stuff in here. But yeah, let me get this jacked up in the air, get the hood up, and we'll start changing oil. Alright, truck's in the air. See if I can do this and hold this camera at the same time. Should be wearing my mount for it. There we go. Alright, a bit drippy. Let that drain. All over my floor, evidently. Why is it doing that? Look at a mess. That's better. Too far to that one side, I guess. Looks like it needs to be changed. A little dirty. Ugh. Get my butt up out of this. Alright. Here's. I fell over. Alright, so just went with some regular castor oil. New Wicks filter. Only calls for 6 quarts, so 6 quarts is what I got. Let that drain a minute and get back and put some oil in it. Alright, fix to get the new filter in. That old one was a pain to get out. So this is what the Police Interceptor engine calls for. This thing is tiny, but police package car, this is what it calls for. That other one, I could almost barely get my hand around it. It was too big. So, crack a little bit of oil here. That seal. Put a little bit in there. It ain't gonna hold much because it's a side mount. Just enough wet whistle. Serious? That don't even fit it. Oh, come on. Evidently, that ain't the right one. Oh, alright. Well, I gotta have a filter. So, I need a picture of that one. 6 o'clock, I got just enough time to go around to the parts house. So, I'm gonna go around to the parts house, get the right filter, and I'll be back. Alright, so we're back. I got the right filter this time. I guess this doesn't have whatever police package oil cooling system it must have had, but this is the right filter. We'll get it put on and then we'll put some oil in it, and I'll be it till in the morning before we leave for the show. So, alright, let's get this on. Alright, oil change is done. Oil's in the truck. Fire it up for the first time, make sure it gets circulated. Good. Almost sounds like the tune made it sound better. Be nice. Right. That looks pretty good in there. Alright, she's ready for running to the show in the morning. So I'll catch you guys in the morning. And we'll be on the road getting this thing ready to go to the show for the first time. Alright, it's the next morning. We're fixing to get headed that way. So, truck's been warming up. Let's get the seatbelt on. Get my mappers out here. Directions going. There we go.
County Fair, Tennessee State Fair may be closed today.
Yeah, I know. here is an idiot. I guess I should have checked the website or checked their Facebook page before I drove an hour and 15 minutes all the way out here, because the county closed the building for the day and won't let them use it, so there's no car show today. So I got a hour and 15 minute drive for nothing. So, well, I guess we'll head back home and I don't know, maybe get some more work done on the truck. I don't know, but drove all the way here and well, nobody here for that, so they canceled it. So, well, at least I got a really good road test out of this truck. I mean, it did absolutely great. Hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes here, so. Just head on home. I mean, granted, farther north I go in Tennessee, the more snow you find, so, but it's really, none of the roads have been bad. I mean, everything's been fine, but I guess they probably didn't want vehicles that were driving on all this and bringing it inside the building. It's probably what they were worried about. I don't know, but guess we'll head home. All right, welcome back. It's been about a week since I drove all the way up to that car show that they canceled on us. Don't mind the background noise. I got my heater on. It's awfully cold today. It's like 23 degrees. Can't tell, you can see my breath in my shop. It's pretty cold, so I got my heater on. I'll try to talk a little bit louder so you can hear me. So when I got home, I decided to do a little bit of work on the truck since we couldn't go to the show. I did a little, I redid my instrument cluster, the gauges and stuff, cut out a new lens and stuff, and I added some stuff. I'll put it in the link, or I'll add a link in the description of this video for you guys. What I did is, if you can see, I've completely redone this cluster, new lenses, but if you look really close, I've added some indicator lights right here. So these right here for my turn signals. These came from alpinetech.com. Like I said, I'll post a link in the description. And then on top of that, my instrument cluster has been giving me trouble. It's been coming on and off a lot. It'll just die out and I have no gauges at all. No speedometer, no fuel gauge, no temp, no tacho, nothing. It just dies out. And so I was looking online, did a little bit of research. Seems to be a common issue with these clusters. So I took it apart, found some resistors and some capacitors that are on there that are that were a little raised up off the pad. So what I did is I had resoldered the connections and stuff and did a little bit. I plugged it back in, turned it on, and it wasn't cutting on and off like it was before. But I haven't really tested it yet. So today, I think what I'm gonna do is we'll get this put back in, rehook up all the blinkers and stuff, because one of the connectors come off where I've had it connected because I didn't get it gripped right. But I got some new blade terminals, so I can reconnect that, put that in. I want to do some sanding on this passenger side of the bed. I've already sanded most of it. It's all pretty much bare metal. But I don't know if you can see in this light, it's already starting to gain some surface rust just from sitting in the garage for a few days. So I'm gonna re-hit all this. If you've noticed, this isn't caved in anymore. This I cut out from the other truck and stuff, and went ahead and welded this piece in. Turned out pretty good. I'll have to get some filler. So but that's what I plan on doing today, is getting some filler, some better filler. That Bondo brand, I don't really like it, because I got some little dents here and there I got to fix. This section here I'm gonna cut out and replace. It's filled full of wrinkles and dents, and it's not worth trying to fix. So I cut out the good panel from the old truck bed. You can see right there, That one's very nice and straight. It is a long bed, so it'll have to be cut in half. I cut it where the spot welds are and stuff, so, or drilled out all the spot welds for it. So I do got a new microphone coming for the GoPro. It hadn't got here yet, so should have looked. It's probably coming from China. It's probably why I ain't here yet, you know. But yeah, we'll let me get situated, get some tools, get my terminals, and we'll go ahead and get this instrument cluster installed again, and I'll show you guys how it's working and how the blinkers work and stuff like that. And then we'll get the truck turned around. I like sitting on this side of it. I got better electrical outlets anyways, so we'll turn it around and stand that side down, wipe it down real good. It's too cold to paint anything, so I can't paint it. So well, we'll at least get it sanded back down and try to control that surface rust as much as I can. And then we'll go for a ride. I gotta go get some more body filler and things like that, and we'll get back to it. All right, so these are for my turn signals here for this. That's for the brights. This is the instrument gate in the cluster connector. So I'm gonna redo these. I've got some of these better because they're, you know, if I just have them, I either have to tape them up or heat shrink tube cover them so they don't arc out against anything. So I've got some new weather packed ones that are like almost completely covered. So we'll use these to cover that up so they don't arc out against anything, and I may go ahead and put some heat shrink tubing on them and stuff. So yeah, I've already got a couple of these cut off, so we'll get these put on. Sitting here in the driver's seat trying to do this. So let's see. So here's the ground, and I got it hooked up right here. Get it plugged in. Let's get that harness out of the way. There we go. Some ground. This one goes here. Let's see if I can put this up here. Cut it out of the way. Turn signal, so that's this one. And then the brights. There you go, there it is. This is for the brights. That one should work without the key. Alright, brights are working. Lights off, key on. Left blinker working. Right blinker working. Oh, have to excuse the radio. All right, that's working. All right, so we'll heat shrink tube that just to keep it safe from arcing out against anything inside here, and we'll hook this back up and install the cluster, and then clean up this mess. All right, key gun, plug it in. Alright. Got that heat shrink tubed. Alright, let's get this set back up in here. Let's get these wires tucked up in there. Get this hooked up. Now that one, if you noticed, okay, this one's not hooked up yet. Right here. That's for a emergency brake light. I went ahead and put that in because I do plan on getting my emergency brake from the Crown Vic chassis working. I haven't figured out how I want to do that just yet. I may go with an electric unit that I've seen online. Let's see here. Yeah, I knew I have a ground wire in the way. Let's see here. Let's get this. Oh, that one doesn't want it. There we go. All right. Screws put in. All right. Get that off there so we don't lose it. We'll get this thing turned around. You have to forgive my sniffling. It's got my nose running, it's so cold. Oh, I didn't fix it. Come on. Back to doing it again. That's what I'm talking about, where it's on and off. No luck today with that, I guess. Oh, back on now. I'll have to pull it apart again. Or send it off, one or the other. Shut off again. I hear they're bad about it. Yep, there it goes. It's off again. Nope, back on. But tag on the side of it says it's been remanufactured already, so they didn't do that good of a job. I didn't make it any better or worse, so. Alright, so it's been a couple days. I did run and get some body filler like I said I was going to. And I did some more sanding work. Once I did, I finished sanding it and then I worked on this top rail of the bed. As you can see, I skim coated it, sanded it, block sanded it, then hit it with some filler primer. Block sanded it again, and it's actually looking pretty darn good. I mean, it's not absolutely perfect. I think there's a pinhole or two that I'll have to touch up. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it yet. Right there, you got a little pinhole right there. These right here are where the holes are for the chrome trim that was only on this section of the bed that I replaced. The rest of the bed is not a custom cab bed, so it doesn't have the holes. So I'll clean these holes out, and then I'll just finish drilling the holes so that way we can get the trim put on. But that's going to do it for this episode. So next episode I'm going to be doing some major metal work on this thing. We're going to be working on cutting these tubs out, both sides. I showed you where I've made those 2 panels. I got to make 2 more panels, but these tubs have got to be cut out, and I'm going to do it with the bed on the truck, so that way I can see where I need to trim them out. And then once I get them spot welded on there really good, I may go ahead and pull the bed back off, and then we'll replace the 4 corner pieces. And then I'll have to run and get some more sheet metal. 16 gauge is pretty difficult to bend with what I've got here, so I may do the bed floor in 18 gauge if I can find some. So we'll have to run and get some 18 gauge here soon. And but yeah, I thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the new subscribers that I've got. I'm thankful for each and every single one of you. And you know, just if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and hit your little notification bell so you get all the updates on this truck. And you know, thank you guys for watching, and peace out.